hoping this one gets. Here are the COVID numbers according to the Finnish Yle, which is one of the state-owned media companies. Here are the numbers. Here are the numbers. I believe these might be. No, these are all right. These are all exactly right. We are approaching herd immunity. It'll take some time though. One 1.5 out of 1,000 in the worst infection country. That's about a day doing the most intensive part of the Battle of Normandy on both sides combined. It's in the ballpark. It's in the ballpark. So, if I were to say something, I would say look at that. That is the emergency care numbers for the initial variant. And look at that. That is the hospitalization of initial variant. First mutation, and winter spike. And midwinter, no activity outside. Spring thaw, summer, autumn. So it follows normal human transitory patterns. It's not the flu, but it follows the pattern. And latest variant, fatality same as Delta, but transmissibility, sorry, not fatality, emergency care same as Delta, but hospitalization much higher than Delta. Death rate, fairly reasonably high spike when new mutation appears, and midwinter. Yeah, midwinter. However, infections daily compared to this. You can see what is the trend. Targeting young people. So there are 100,000 cases or so during the three previous variants, 150,000 cases doing this variant. And there are 500 deaths in this variant and 1,000 in all previous variants. And rate of emergency care is same across Delta and current variant, but lowest is the one that immediately followed the primary, and the highest is by far in the primary. So we are learning how to cope with this disease through medical procedure, and we are learning how to transfer the patients from emergency care to primary hospital care, which means fatalities will lower while infections will raise as we slowly start to open society. Now, the vaccination rates appear roughly consistent with free will, roughly consistent. The guys who got the primary dose are roughly everybody, give or take. The guys who got two doses are the guys who were actually worried about it or like wanted to put some effort into it. And the guys who will get the three doses will probably be something along the lines of what the data from the Omicron winter spike will be. If we'll see a mild winter spike, then I estimate that primary and secondary will raise a little bit, but tertiary will raise somewhat. But if this Omicron turns out to be so transmissible that the fatality rates will actually go through the roof, then I believe primary vaccinations will raise rather sharply, and so will secondary, but tertiary will still continue a steady rise, I believe. It depends now on how transmissible this, like, optimized for transmission and low fatality variant actually is. Because I'm looking at, they're about 150,000, 170,000 versus 100,000. So it's six times more transmissible or so with my high school math than the initial variant. And it is I don't know how to do this in my head. Se on niinku, toi on niinku, Toi on 24 kertaa tarttuvampi. It's 24 times more transmissible than the initial corona. That's how transmissible it is. However, in terms of fatality, it is for all who get it at its 28 times more transmissibility, only 2 times more fatal. Now, let me calculate how much lower per infection your chance of death from Omicron as versus the initial one actually is. Let me calculate this one. It's that was 24, not 28. 24 times more transmissible with twice the fatality. Isn't that? Are we talking about 12 times less likely? I think we are. So, so is it 12 times less likely to kill the infected based on 24 times more infectious with twice the mortality total? Yeah, it's 12 times less likely to kill you if you get it at Omicron instead of the first variant, meaning that it actually adapted like it was hoped that it would. Now we're looking at 145,000 confirmed infections in the region of 1 million with this level of transmissibility, meaning that hospitals will be overrun in about a week to 4 days. Yeah, week to 4 days, even with a low fatality rate, because these guys still need hospital care. They don't need emergency care, but they do need hospital care. So, based on the fact that this may not require emergency care, there may be better chance at low end maintenance, but hospitals are likely to be overwhelmed in the next week based on this date. That is what I'm seeing. Confirmed cases daily. Today it was 17,000. Looking at this rate, the population numbers, the hospitalization numbers, and my general math, I would say this is going to go perhaps all the way to 50,000. and hospitalization rate in Finland is not capable of taking 3,000 patients in the hospitals. That much I know. That much I know. You can check masters for yourself. And fatality rate is gonna rise, but it is gonna plateau over the summer. And if this particular variant sweeps through the primary population, are gonna see this chart above here be, instead of one dose, two doses, three doses, it's gonna be one dose or one confirmed infection, two doses or one dose and confirmed infection, and so on. So we'll be looking at that way, because that's what I have noticed. But moving on, I believe this is about it. So sure, I'm gonna get a freaking strike for this. This data is all available online, and that's my analysis of it. I didn't want to put the word up there because that triggers the search engine, and then I might show up on the front page, and I don't want to show up on the front page. So just putting data up there on the front page, and like 50 searches back to be guys like WHO. Then, like at page 69, you're gonna see Alex Jones, but you have to go that far in. You know what I mean? So that's my decal estimate of this. It's gonna peak in the next 2 weeks. It's gonna be bad. And then everybody will have either gotten it or they will have gotten the vaccines to it, meaning that everybody is once vaccinated. The end. That is how it deals with this, which is what I estimated. And as you can see, it is so transmissible that it was found on the Antarctic base amongst crew that were all triple vaccinated and quarantined. It is that transmissible. When these fuckers decide to go through you, they go through you. So, what can you do? Anyway, that was my thing. I'm gonna go play XCOM and imagine about us being able to do something.